This is how we remember. VIMY, shorthand for you think what you're going through is hard. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved, and were loved. Real people with passions and desires and dreams and fears.
They speak of trenches. Trenches as too romantic. They were common, ordinary ditches. As time went by, they became filthy. No garbage disposal, no sewage disposal. The whole place squeaking and squealing with huge, monstrous rats. Guns firing. There was the weird, unearthly howling of shells. There would be strange, meaningless rifle shots, random, unassociated bursts of machine guns. The tension never for one moment relaxed. British, French, Germans, Americans, every nationality lived years of their lives, as if that were the way men should live.
We're bombed, we're scared as we can be. Can't stop the bombs sent from Germany. Bomb last night, and bombed the night before.
This is a time when they didn't even know what PTSD was, so if you deserted, you were shot. 322 British soldiers were killed for this during the war, 22 Canadians. To pay proper respect is to remind ourselves exactly what these men and these kids were put through. This was the full-blown mass recruitment and enlistment of teenage soldiers who were forced for fear of execution to fight other kids. And that is a horror beyond any possible rationale. That's insanity.
They'll call me coward if I should return, but a hero if I fall.
The reason they fought was for the person beside them. War in some ways exploits the very best of us. We are trapped inside our bodies and minds our whole lives, the only thing we can truly know, and still we're able to leap out of that and prioritize someone else to the point where that can push us through the indescribable. That we can be braver and more selfless than we would have ever imagined. Can you imagine getting sent overseas to fight and die for your country, and if you somehow manage to not die, if you miraculously live through the most despicable conditions ever, your government doesn't give you a ride home. And if you do get a ride home, if you're Indigenous, you still don't get to vote, you still don't get a pension, and you find more of your land stolen. The reason they couldn't get a ride home was the company that had loaned their ships to the military, Canadian Pacific, took them back as soon as the war ended in order to start making money right away. The same company that owned thousands and thousands of acres of vacant land that went untouched during the war, even when the government needed it to up their food production. Instead, the government stole that land from Indigenous people, starting a program called the Greater Production Scheme, where they legally took over 6,200 acres to farm, and then they kept all the profits, they sold off the equipment, and when the war ended, they gave the land back infertile.
There are sounds that live longer than memory. A song, a voice, a cry on the wind. But there is one sound, raw and wild, that travels deeper than all the rest. Bagpipes. When fear gripped the strongest hands, when orders crumbled and men froze before the wire, Richardson climbed out of the trench, alone. A single piper walking upright into the storm, even as bullets snapped the air. And the men, our lads, they found their will, they moved, they surged. They say 100 men rose behind him.
There it was, the VIMY Memorial. I saw it and I stopped. And in that moment, something happened. Something changed. The VIMY Memorial reminds us that every war leaves holes in fields, in families, in nations. It teaches us that remembrance is not passive. It's an act, a duty. It's our duty.
There is no country like my own country. and no girl like my own. I'm not lonesome, nor downhearted, but I'm surely thinking of you and what might have been had this war not intervened. This cause is worthy, and I don't regret the sacrifice, except for your sake. Well, dear girl, I will close with love from Murray.
Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors, so that in glory and triumph they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot.
I have no words. He took them all with him. I'm waiting for the sky to fall. Come bring me home to the never-ending. Up the ladder's over and carry